Today on the podcast, we're going to be looking at how to market or how to sell your products or your services on LinkedIn. So, you have a product, you have a service, you're trying to make some money, and somebody tells you that LinkedIn, that's a good place. You can go and find customers there. You can hustle your market there. And so you think, you know what? Let me get on LinkedIn. What is LinkedIn, by the way? So, LinkedIn is a social media network, but it's more like a business social media network. So yes, people are sending friend requests and people are putting up content, but it's mostly business oriented. So people are going to LinkedIn because they want to network, or because they're trying to build a professional brand, or they're trying to, whatever it is that people do on social media. But of course, LinkedIn is purely for business purposes. So, the reason why we're tackling that question today, how to market or sell your products or services on LinkedIn, is because lots of you are on LinkedIn trying to drum up business, and you guys are doing lots of things the wrong way. And then you wonder, is LinkedIn an effective place to sell? The answer is yes, LinkedIn is an effective place to sell. TikTok can be an effective place to sell. Pinterest can be an effective place to sell. You name it, on and on and on, provided you know how to do it the right way. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. So ultimately, the reason why is because I'm still receiving bad outreach on LinkedIn. So my assumption is that lots of you listening to this podcast are on LinkedIn and you're trying to drum up business and you are doing things the wrong way. Now, my name is Tabishima Agede. I'm the host of the podcast. If you'd love to connect with me, you can call, send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. Also, if you love these kinds of issues, how do you make money? How do you find customers? Which social media should you be hanging around? And where can you get the most or the best or the easiest or the most fun type of customers to work with? Then this podcast is for you. So subscribe on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or whichever player, wherever place you like to consume content. And also, a warning, I'm making today's recording at home. The house is empty, but my neighbor is getting his septic tank cleaned. And, we discussed this thing. And the guy was talking about how he was going to hire somebody to use carbide, to throw carbide in there to solidify all the poop and the pee and everything. And then they'll flush it out and blah, blah, blah. When he told me, I told him that, look, dude, I know that people do this thing, but, this is Nigeria. Not everybody's a professional. And carbide and all this carbolic stuff, you throw it into septic tanks, and if you don't get the quantity right, the thing will explode. Small time, you now hear boah. Before you know it, you damage the foundation. People get injured. The guy said, is that the case? I said, of course it's the case now. No be Nigeria we dey. Lagos, Abuja, we hear these things all the time. Somebody wants to go and clear their septic tank. They throw small carbolic acid inside. Next thing, bah. You break a wall. In fact, my wife and I, we've had to go and visit somebody in hospital. No, we didn't go because she ended up being hospitalized, not in Abuja, further out, close to our own hometown, as they took her back home so they could take good care for her. That's how the lady lost her legs. So this is some dangerous stuff. Anyway, so basically, I'm just saying that, my neighbor is having his septic tank clean. So if as we're recording now, if you just hear boah, just know that that's what happened. That, is an explosion. And, if if you live around with your neighbors, you're cool with them, and any of them are trying to do this kind of work, I beg, tell them, let them go and hire a professional. Or let them go to the local government, the people that are responsible for cleaning septic tanks. Let them come and suck this thing away. Because sometimes all these shortcuts that we like to do in Nigeria, anyway, it's not me that the thing will affect. After all, me, I live upstairs. So anyway, that's the warning. If you hear any loud noises, that's what's going on. Okay, so now back to the topic for today: how to market, how to sell your products or services on LinkedIn. And like I said, people are sending bad outreach. Now, let me just read out one message that I received in my LinkedIn inbox. And I know it's the kind of thing that you guys are sending because, how will I put it? All these ideas for business development, for sales, ideas keep going round and round and round. And so it looks like this is the time now for this kind of idea. So I know that Nigerians are also doing this as well. So let me read the message. And then we're going to use the message as a case study for what you should not be doing or for what you could do better in case you're sending out these kinds of messages. So the message goes like this. Hi, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for accepting my invitation request on LinkedIn. I'm reaching out to introduce blah 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 online, the flagship product of XYZ Limited. It's a leading internet access management and billing solution trusted by ISPs, hospitality groups, enterprises, and educational institutions worldwide. With a presence in over 80 countries, over 1,000 clients, and over 2,000 installations, Blah 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 Online currently serves more than 1 million subscribers across the globe. We are exploring potential collaborations to strengthen our presence in new regions, and I believe your experience and network make you an ideal partner for this initiative. We would like to invite you to join us as a channel partner to promote and represent Blah 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 Online in your country. This partnership could open up significant mutual business opportunities and help us expand our market reach together. Please let me know a convenient time to discuss this further. I look forward to your response. Best regards, blah blah blah, Vice President, Business and Operations and Product Head, XYZ, blah blah blah, Product Limited. So, for those of you who have listened to the podcast before, you've already heard one or two things that you know I'm going to say. But for those of you who are new listening to the podcast, this is your first time, in your own opinion, you say, now, the thing okay now. It's okay. The thing is smooth. It's all right. It makes sense. You can send it. No problem. So let's take time now and let's tear this thing down. Let's run some commentary on this thing. So the thing says, hi, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for accepting my invitation request on LinkedIn. If you remember from when I read out the message, the guy continued to yarn, I am this, I am the best, I am the blah, I am blah, blah, the kind of thing we normally do. But this is what the guy should have done instead. Hi, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for accepting my invitation request on LinkedIn. The guy should have now added, I see from your profile that you're into XYZ. Can you tell me more about that? And then the guy should have stopped there because the message is too long. And like I keep on saying, people are reading these messages on their mobile phones most of the times. And if you're crafting a message that people have to scroll 3 or 4 times to finish, trust me, nobody is reading that message. When I say nobody, I don't mean absolutely nobody. I'm just saying if you send a message to 100 people, best believe maybe 5 or 10 people will read it because it's too long. So we want to keep the messages short. And remember that what we're trying to do is not to sell our market in one message. Rather, what we're trying to do is to draw people into a conversation so that we can figure out if they are interested, if there's any alignment in our motivations, and that gives us a chance to now make a sales pitch, at some later date. But what we're trying to do is to draw people into a conversation when we send these kinds of messages. So this is all the guy should have sent to me as one message, not just to me. Because trust me, when people send these things, now a blanket approach, broadcasting. So the guy sent this thing to, maybe 100 people or maybe 1,000. So it should be, hi, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for accepting my invitation request on LinkedIn. I can see from your profile that you're into XYZ. Can you tell me more about that? You could have also said, you could have also asked, what line of business are you into? You could have also asked, how did you get into XYZ? XYZ being, whatever business it is that you do. Now, this is the reason, or this is the principle behind why I am saying he should have asked questions about the other person who is receiving the message. And the idea behind it is something called reciprocity. Most people are decent people. And when you give somebody a chance to talk about themselves, they will in return now ask you, what is it that you do? It is now that you now have a chance to talk about who you are, your product, and your service. This is how it works. I've said it lots of times on the podcast. So as in romantic relationships, so also in business. For those of us who are guys, we don't show up to a babe and then we begin to vomit. This is me. I'm the greatest. I'm the best. I'm the... You show up to the babe looking cool, calm, collected, spray your perfume, fine ball game on point. You ask her questions about herself first. And who doesn't like talking about themselves? Of course she will talk about herself. After a while, she will say, enough about me. How about you? It is then you can now say, I'm a fine boy. I went to masters abroad. My father is a senator. But you can now be vomiting whatever is on your chest. Reciprocity. Show up to somebody and ask the person questions about themselves. Then the average person will now say, what about you? Who are you? What do you do? Then you can start to vomit. It's the same thing in business as in relationships. So on social media, the scope is the same. Thank you for accepting my request. Then you ask the person something about them. They'll talk small. Then they will now say, oh, what about you? That's how you open the door. That is how you get permission to start talking about yourself. Reciprocity. Reciprocal. Do me, I do you. God no vex. Turn by turn. That is the idea. Reciprocity. It applies in real life relationships. It applies in business relationships. Now, this is also another reason why you ask people about themselves first, especially in the business context. In fact, even in romantic context itself, when you ask somebody about themselves first, it gives you a sense of whether this person is the ideal prospect or not. So for boys now, when you pull up on the babe and you ask her some questions about herself, by some of the things she says, you will now know that, such a period, that this babe outwardly is a fine babe, but from all the things she has said, this one is not wife material. Make her bounce, and then you will move. It's also the same thing in business. You ask them something about them. From the things that they say, in your heart of hearts, you now know that, this person truly can never be a customer for my product or my service. And then you will do what? You will bounce and move and start talking to somebody else where you have a chance of closing a deal. So, ask people about themselves. Also, the same thing applies to you women as well. You can try and take control, flip the script. The boy shows up, get him to talk about himself. From the things that he says, you will now know, this one is not husband material, or this one is an F boy, or this one is a Yahoo boy, or he's a G boy. Let me bounce. So it's the same thing in business. Get the other person to talk. The more they talk, the more you will know. Is this person a fit for me, for my product, for my service, for my business? You now know whether to stay and continue talking or whether you should fade. Save yourself time. Reciprocity. Turn by turn. Do me, I do you. Anyway, let me not flog it. So, the message continues. I'm reaching out to introduce blah, blah, blah online. I'm trying to block the guy's, the business. Sorry, one moment. I have to attend to the door. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to knock on the door. I said, let me check. Because it could have been my neighbor. Maybe septic tank don't blow. And maybe the guy needs help. And I know it wasn't him. so everything is okay. So I think I spoke about reciprocity before I took off, and why I should ask people about themselves, about their businesses, whether in personal or business relationships, because that is what will allow them to now say, enough about me. How about you? You will now be able to talk about yourself. And then plus, there will also be the added benefit that you'll be able to figure out whether this person is a good fit or not, whether for business or whether for relationships. So now the message continued. Sorry, let me scroll through on my device. Okay, I'm reaching out to introduce blah 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 online, the flagship product of XYZ Global Limited, a leading internet access management and billing solution trusted by ISPs, hospitality groups, enterprises, and educational institutions worldwide. With a presence in over 80 countries, over 1,000 clients, and 2,000 plus installations, blah 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 online currently serves more than 1 million subscribers across the globe. Of course, some of you say, it's okay now. It's all right. It didn't make sense. You're talking about yourself in a professional manner. So for those of you who are uninitiated, you're new in sales, and the paragraph seems okay. But from a sales and business development perspective, it is too early to start boasting about yourself. You don't even know if somebody wants what you have, whether they need your service. It's too early to boast. All of this is white noise and they're being ignored. So back to the relationship example. You roll up on a babe and you say, I'm a fine boy. I have a master's degree from Harvard and my father is a senator. You don't know if she's feeling you. It's too early. It's too early. All the things you're yarning at this stage, excuse me, all the things you're yarning at this stage is off It's off point. It's too early. It is only when you know that the babe is feeling you that you cannot be saying, I'm a fine boy, my father is a senator, and I went to Harvard. Then you're sweetening up the deal, you're spicing up the deal, making yourself look like a nice prospect, nice husband material. But in the beginning, if you don't know if somebody is interested, it's too early to boast. Same thing in business. The guy doesn't know whether I'm interested in what he offers. He's already boasting about himself. Billions of customers, thousands, and so if I have no need for the product or the service, it doesn't matter if he has a billion satisfied customers. I'm not going to take action because I'm not interested. The paragraph itself, there's no problem in it, but there's a time for boasting. The time is not now. It's in the beginning. It's too early. We're trying to figure out if people are even interested. By the way, those of you guys listening to this podcast, if a babe ever told you you're too full of yourself, this was the problem. You started talking about yourself too quick, started boasting too quick. Relax first. You're interested. Then you can now, offload, say whatever it is you want to say. Then, in this paragraph, too many technical terms for lay people. When we say lay people, we mean, please don't take this the wrong way, uneducated people. And when we say uneducated, we mean relative to your product or your service. So if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that I used to be a wedding photographer, and me and my brother used to handle video, doing documentaries and stuff like that. So if I talk about aperture, because you are an uneducated person relative to photography and video, you're a lay person. So when I say aperture, I know what that means. You don't, because it's not your field. When I say depth of field, I know what that means, but you don't, because it's not your field. If I talk about a 2 to 3 aspect ratio, I know what that means, because it's my field. You don't. So a mistake that lots of business people make is that they start using technical terms that they know the meaning, and anybody who is already in the industry should know the meaning. But you forget that lots of our customers are lay people. Lots of our customers are uneducated people when it comes to our product or to our service. Like take, for instance, me. I'm an educated guy. Am I not? But when I go to the mechanic, I am an illiterate. Because if the mechanic says that the internal combustion is off because of something, like me, what do I know about cars? Nothing. So when it comes to cars, I'm an illiterate. So any car salesman or any mechanic or any engineer who is using all those big terms, because that is all that they know, you are confusing me, the prospect, the client, because I am uneducated and I am an illiterate when it comes to this particular field. So this guy, using too many technical terms. Now, for some of us, we already know what it means because, we're in the industry. We like sales, we like marketing, so we know what an ISP means. The average client does not know what an ISP is. Too many technical terms. Okay, even before we get to ISP, the guy say Internet Access Management System. Like, what is that? What does that mean? Internet Access Management System. Okay, I know it has something to do with accessing the internet, but like, is that a service? Or is that a website? Or is it physical hardware? Is the guy talking about a router? Like, I don't know. And the average person who's receiving this email is a layperson. The person is uneducated, and the person has no effing idea. So, even though the paragraph, if you look at it grammatically, the thing makes sense. From a business perspective, that paragraph is OP, is off point. You only use technical terms when you know you're talking to a technical person, which is the reason why, back to the beginning, you ask somebody about themselves in the beginning. That is how you know you're talking to a technical person. When you ask the person, oh, thank you for accepting my LinkedIn request. Oh, what line of business are you into? And then they talk. You now know that, this is my person. It is then that you can now go technical and tell the person ISP this, ISO this, international standard something, blah, 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 internet access system, upgrade, downgrade, ping this, retroactive something. You will now be using all those terms and people will be flowing and flowing well because you know that you're talking from one professional to another. It's also, you see, this is the main reason why you get somebody to talk about themselves first in the sales context. So, Internet Access Management System, what does that mean? I don't know. ISP, okay, I know that means Internet Service Provider, but that's all I know. All the other stuff that he was saying, honestly, thing just went over my head. And to be honest, like I told you, the message is too long. At this point, trust me, 50% of the people who he sent this message to, they don't check out, like they're gone. They're not even scrolling again. They're not. So, instead of talking all these technical terms, how about simplifying it? Instead of all these things that he just said, how about saying, we have a powerful system that will help you decide how your customers use the internet and how much they charge for it. By the way, I had to go online to go and check to understand exactly what an internet access management system is. So when you go, for those of you who are married, anniversary is coming up, you say you want to treat your wife. So, you take her to Hilton Hotel or, Radisson Blue or whatever. And then you get into the hotel room. It's all nice and cozy. The AC is nice and cool, but you want to watch something romantic, with madame. Maybe you guys have a bubble bath first. You now settle in, champagne. You're about to watch something on the TV, but you have to sign in to the, you have to log in the TV into the hotel's internet first, or into your computer into the hotel's internet. Now, the thing that you will click on to now enter in, your hotel details and everything, so that the hotel will give you access, so that you and madam can watch something nice and cozy, and maybe, end up with a happy ending. That is what you call the Internet Access Management System. So you can see, I had to go and check the internet. I had to go and Google this thing to understand what this guy was talking about. You could have just said it. Simply, we have a powerful system, or we have a system that helps you decide how your customers use the internet and how they're going to get charged for it. Now, the fact that I had to go and check this thing online, it begs one fundamental question, the ICP, the ideal customer profile, the ideal audience, the people who you should be chasing after, the people who might need your product or your service, the people who will benefit most from it. Am I a fit? I'm clearly not a fit. He should not be sending me this message. Because people who typically use these kinds of solutions, like he pointed out in his email, are ISPs, internet service providers. So like MTN, they have to decide how many megabytes are they giving me? How will I sign in? What kind of security protocol? Is it WAP protocol? Is it, whatever, all those technical stuff. So MTN, you should be approaching MTN. By the way, I'm sure MTN already has their own internet access management system. Hotels and resorts. Those are the people who should be approaching. Universities, like OAU. OAU definitely needs these sorts of things. I don't know if they've put internet access in the student halls. Because back when I was in uni, internet was still brand new, so there was no talk about any of that. Back then, if you wanted to use the internet, you go to cyber cafe, you go and buy time, and the thing was so slow that you pay for 1 hour. Then when you click on www.yahoo.com, you hit enter, bam. It will take like 10 minutes before Yahoo will open. Before you read one email, like 15 minutes. Before you know it, your time will just exhaust. You only responded to one email. Then you now have to go and pay for another 1 hour again. So those are the people that this guy should be talking to. He should be sending this message. He should be doing this kind of outreach on LinkedIn to people who are internet service providers, people who run hotels and resorts, people who run universities or large secondary schools or large corporations. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you check my profile on LinkedIn, there is nothing on my profile to show that I fit into any of these categories. So why in the hell is this guy reaching out to me and thinking I might be a good customer and sending me this message? Lots of you are trying to move market on social media by sending messages to people left, right, and center, and you are not even doing some basic research. At the very least, look at somebody's profile. Peruse the profile, scroll up, scroll down, and then ask yourself, does it look like this is the kind of person who uses my product or my service? If the answer is no, why are you sending a message to this person? There is no amount of perfect conversation or perfect technique that can get the wrong person to become the ideal customer. There is none. There is none. None. If I'm looking for a second wife and I'm going to go and toast a Muslima, it's not going to happen. Because as far as Muslima is concerned, I'm a kafir. So she can't marry me. There's no amount of perfect, sweet talking mouth, but it's not going to happen. It can't. It's also the same in business. Peruse the person. Look at the situation. Look at the business. Look at the context. Does it look as if this person might be interested? Does it look like there's a match here? If it looks like there is, then go ahead. If it doesn't look as... Guy, this thing should be common sense. I really don't know why people waste their time. Because this guy will send this message to 1,000 people in a week, and he will now report to his Oga and say, Oga, I did work this week. I sent out 1,000 messages. What's the point? If you sent out 1,000 messages, and then 96% of them were poorly targeted, were received by people who are not even in your ICP, can you say that you did work? You didn't. This outreach was not targeted, and this outreach was not relevant to me. And I know that he's broadcasting this thing, so it's not relevant to... Anyway, you get the point, so let me move on. So the message continues. Sorry, let me scroll again on my device. So we are exploring potential collaborations to strengthen our presence in new regions, and I believe your experience and network make you an ideal partner for this initiative. He says, I believe your experience and your network. Why? He's making assumptions. He didn't ask me about me. He didn't ask me about what I do. He didn't ask me about who my customers are. He didn't ask me about the kind of networks I'm involved in. He didn't ask me about my personal interests. He didn't ask me about my business interests. How does he know that I will be a match? You see, this is also the reason why we engage in conversations with people early on. Thank you for accepting my LinkedIn request. What do you do for a living? How did you get into XYZ business? Rapport building, small conversation. People will be talking based on the things that they say. It is now later on you can now say, since you have experience in so and so, I believe that you will be an ideal partner for XYZ. As you're saying it, the other person too will be shaking their head because it makes sense. And the reason why it will make sense is because you engage them in conversation earlier. So you have all the extra information that you need instead of making assumptions. He didn't engage me in conversation. So he didn't get a sense of my personal network, the kind of personal networks I have, the strength of my networks. He didn't get a sense of whether our business priorities are aligned. Don't make assumptions. Engage people in conversations. So, the message continues. We would like to invite you to join us as a channel partner to promote and represent blah, blah, blah online in your country. This partnership could open up significant mutual business opportunities and help us expand our market reach together. Another mistake. Yes, grammatically speaking, nothing is wrong with this paragraph, but the guy is worried about expanding his market reach. Have you noticed so far that this message says nothing about me, nothing about the recipient, nothing about the benefit that I'm going to get? It's about him. This is him. This is why he's the best. This is why he's the greatest. This is how many customers that they have. I should partner with him so that he can expand his own market, his own market access. Really? Is that how life is? You want somebody from somebody, and you show up to the person, and you keep talking about yourself. Then your call to action is for somebody to do something so that you can succeed. Let's go back to the relationship example. My father is a senator. I went to Harvard, blah, blah, blah. I'm a first class student, something. Marry me because you will make my life complete. Is that how you told somebody? My father is a senator. I went to Harvard, so, blah, blah, blah. Marry me so that my life will be complete. Does that make sense? You complete me. Come and complete me. Now, so then a toast. And people are doing the same thing in business. Help me, buy from me, do this for me, me. Make it about the other person. Buy my product or my service or something, because my product or my service will help you achieve XYZ results. It will help you gain this number of customers. It will help you increase your the strength of your network. It will help you make more money. It will help you do this. It will help you do that. That is how you make a pitch. So back to the relationship thing. I'm feeling you. I'm loving you. All this time that we've been spending together, babe, I like the way that your life is going. I'll do anything. We'll be privileged to be your life partner, to accompany you on this journey. I beg, make me the happiest man in the world and marry me, because it will be an honor for me to walk by your side. Bam, you propose. That's how you do it. You make it about her. And in business, you make it about the customer. Sorry, for those of you who are listening, who are women, I will not ask you to propose to a guy, so don't propose. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. Then the message continues. He says, please let me know a convenient time to discuss this further. I look forward to your response. Let me know a convenient time. I look forward to your response. If you haven't figured it now, let me say it much more clearly. Before you get to the point of asking somebody to take the next steps with you, confirm if they are interested first. Don't ask a babe for a date if you don't know that she's interested with you in the first place. That's what leads to that awkward scenario, especially back in our day when there was no GSM back in school. You talk to the babe, you agree, people are going out on a date, you now show up, and then she's not in the hostel. And you're now wondering, but we discussed now. You didn't find out if she was interested. So she didn't know how to tell you no to your face. So she did what any other babe would do. She said, sure, no problem. Moremi Hall, room A5. Yeah, you can come and see me, 6:30. And then you're there, 6 o'clock, sharp. You'll be ahead of time. And then she's not around. And then you start ending up with all those silly games that you play afterwards. You see her later on in the faculty. Oh, sorry, this came up, that came up. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Oh, sorry, this, oh, sorry, that. Then after 2 months of, oh, sorry, you now realize, oh, she's not that into you. Same thing in business. Before you try to get somebody to take that next step with you, confirm if they are interested. What the guy did right now was a smart move because he was trying to do a CTA. CTAs are called call to action. That means you get the person to take the next step. You get the person to do something with you. But before you do that, confirm if they are interested. This, by the way, even if I was interested, even if the person who received this message is interested, this CTA, this call to action, this proposal for a next step is not direct enough. So first of all, before you do this thing, trial close to confirm if they're interested. So you say, oh, I take it that you're interested in XYZ. Ask the person up front. If the person says no, you now know that, okay, there's some steps that you missed. If the person says yes, you continue. Okay, if that's the case, would you be okay with us having a meeting? Would you be okay with us having a phone call? Would you be okay with us setting up a Zoom call? Or would you be okay with us having a physical meeting? We can meet at Sedi Plaza next week. You see, trial close first. I take it you're interested. The person says yes. If you're okay, would you be okay with blah, blah, blah? And then you wait for feedback. If the person says yes, then you now dial it in. Become more concrete. I am free Monday and Tuesday morning, anytime before 11:30 a.m. Does that work for you? You propose the next step. You propose the time. You don't leave it up to the other person. You are the professional. You take the initiative. If you leave it in the court of the prospect to the other person, the default answers that people will give you are, let me think about it. If somebody says, let me think about it, after that, the person is going to put you in ghost mode. Or, let me get back to you. Let me get back to you. From there, ghost mode. Or, I'll be in touch. When the person says, I'll be in touch, from there, person no go dey pick call again or respond to your emails or to respond to your messages. Some people say, let me discuss with my business partner. This is why you do not leave it in the other person's hands. You propose. Confirm that they're interested first. Then you propose what the advancement is. Advancement is the next step people are going to take. Or the call to action. Propose the call to action. Confirm. Are they interested? Do a trial close. Then propose the next step. You propose it. Then the message ends. Best regards. Name. VP, Business Operations and Product Head. So and so Global Limited, blah, 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 online. We're in LinkedIn, so all these details are not necessary because it's already there on your profile, quite frankly. Oh, okay, so it's already 40 minutes. So let me just wrap it up. Summary. This outreach was too long because he tried to cram too many issues into it. Then the outreach was also too ambitious because this guy assumed that you can get someone interested by just sending one message. By the way, if you're new to business, this is the answer. You cannot get somebody interested with just one message. You can't. This guy did not engage in any rapport building. You should always try and do some rapport building. Get the other person to talk about themselves. Build some commonality. Build some rapport. Learn a little bit about the person. This guy did not do any need analysis. Need analysis is where you see if the other person is interested, if they like it, if they need it, to what extent do they need it? Are they just curious or are they really serious? Then this outreach was not targeted. You should be sending out messages on LinkedIn to a targeted ICP. Before you send the message or before you send the connection request, browse their profile. See if these are the people who are most likely to be interested in these sorts of things or take actions on these things that are related to the product or the service that you have. Then, to wrap up, this guy did not put a compelling call to action or advancement at the end of the message. When we're trying to propose the next step, we need to be dialed in. First of all, we need to confirm that people are interested and that they're willing to take the next step. And then we propose the next step and then gain some feedback. Gain some feedback about the next step, gain some feedback about the timing. So remember, I said, oh, okay, if you're interested, it means, we're all cool. So it means we're cool to set up a Zoom meeting next. Like, gain some feedback. Cause some people might say, Zoom meeting, like, why Zoom now? I'm in Abuja, you're in Abuja. Like, where's your office? Let's meet. It happens. Somebody might say, Zoom? And actually, I prefer phone calls. So how about we just talk tomorrow instead? That one is even better. Anyway, since we've been talking for 40 minutes, let me bring this to a close. Let me just wrap it up this way. So I'm putting a question to you now, dear listener of the podcast, of this particular episode. Do you think, you listening now, do you think this guy will be successful with all these LinkedIn messages that he's sending to people? I'll leave it up to you to judge. And if you've been sending messages like this and you're not making any progress, can you now see why you have not been making money with this approach? Too many people complain, especially in Nigeria. They'll say LinkedIn doesn't work. LinkedIn works. The problem is you don't know how to use LinkedIn. So go and learn. Nigerians will say TikTok doesn't work. It's not a good way to make sales. The problem is not that TikTok doesn't work. It is that you haven't learned how to use TikTok. Go and learn. Somebody will say Facebook groups are dead. They don't work. The problem is not that the thing is dead. It's that you don't know how to use it. Go and learn. Anyway, let me stop ranting and being an angry man on today's episode. So that's it, and that's all for today. Remember, if you'd love to connect, you can call, send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. So thank you very much for your time and attention. I will catch you all some other time. And please, pray for me that this my neighbor will finish cleaning the tank without us hearing "Bwah," because with that thing, it will explode. There's another unnecessary wahala now in the compound.